Many people believe that knowledge is power. Now, there's some truth to that, but knowledge is only powerful. What I've learned is that when it's consistently applied, in other words, applied knowledge is powerful. And so today we're going to be talking about the power of consistency, how a small step forward each day can add up to a lot of mileage over time. Welcome to another Rare Conversation. I am Tony Jalen, joined by the wonderful, the amazing. If you haven't got her autograph yet, you better get it. The Neil Jalen. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Neil. Good morning. So today we're going to be talking about, the power and consistency. I mean, are the little things you do each day adding up to something positive? Or is the quality of your life slowly slipping away? Hey, I can tell when I think about this topic of consistency, I was literally thinking about this morning here on my way to the office, is that anything that I've been proud of in my life, that I achieved some great results, it wasn't only the result, the end reward that I was proud of myself for achieving. It was I was proud of how I consistently showed up every day. That discipline, that hard work and effort I put in those days when I didn't really want to go ahead and, show up. And I don't know, I think you think about the consistent action over the next 10 or 12, 20 years, what could you accomplish? If you're in sales, and I know we have business leaders that listen to this. If you made 5 cold calls each day, 5 days per week, that equals 1,300 sales call in 1 year. Now, fall 5 small pieces of chocolate over the same schedule is roughly 25,000 calories, or the equivalent of over 7 pounds. I'm not gonna lie, I like some Dove chocolates at sometimes too, and I realized that I had to go ahead and stop that. But I think a question that we can all ask ourselves is, are our consistent behaviors helping or harming us? What's your thoughts on that, Danielle?
Well, I think with anything, yeah, I think when you listen to what you're consistently saying on a daily basis, is it something negative or something positive? Like, where does that take you down the road? Um, Whenever you're consistent at doing anything, you're going to get some sort of result. Just depends on whether it's going to be a positive result or a negative result.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and explore 6 different ideas or topics when it comes to using the power of consistency to enhance your success. Now, truth be told, there's still areas that I'm inconsistent on. I have not found the holy grail in being consistent with everything. But there's things to consider if there's something you want to achieve more success in it, whether it be your health, your relationships, your career, your finances. And so we're going to go and explore those 6 ideas, those thoughts here today. So grab yourself a notebook and a pen, and feel free to comment if you found something that really just resonate with you. And if you're watching us on YouTube Live, Facebook Rare Leaders Group Live, you can make a special request to join that group, or Twitter. Welcome. So I think the first thing is, they say all human progress is preceded by a question. And the first thought I want to ask you when it comes to consistency is, if you relived today for the next 10 years, where would you end up? Think about yesterday alone. If you relived yesterday for the next 10 years, where would you end up? How can that be such a powerful question for us to consider, to actually do self reflection and work on either altering our habits or being more consistent with the habit?
Well, based on yesterday, since it was raining all day, it'd be pretty of a bummer of a day. But still finding that time, like, in between the raindrops falling to still get out for my walk and, just choosing to I did have my raincoat on, so, um, it helped a little bit, but just choosing what I can still control in the environment that I'm at in, um, and by making those decisions, to move positively forward, even though it was a gloomy day out, I think is powerful in itself.
So let me ask you this question: how were you able to? I mean, it was raining outside. It was gloomy outside yesterday. What made you decide? Because I'm sure the comfort of our home would be a lot more comfortable than going outside. What made you decide to even go out even in the rain though?
I kept bugging Ezekiel, and finally he came and walked with.
Oh, so you got a partner in crime to help you along with it. I get it. So sometimes, in other words, when those decisions you don't want to consistently make, you don't want to do, go ahead and find a partner in crime. Is what I'm hearing you
Yep.
say. So, an effective way to predict your success is to examine your average day and project the likely outcome of the future. If I keep on doing this day in and day out, what does my future look like? Um, and to consider where your daily habits are and behaviors are leading you financially, socially, spiritually, and physically. When you think about that, what are the logical conclusions of your daily activities? Number two, this is tough. This is tough. I'm in a new role in my current career as a vice president of sales, and I want results yesterday. And they go, well, it's a 3-year plan. I'm like, I am not always a fan of 3-year plans, but I get it and I understand it. And so number two is realize that many changes in life come slowly. We were just talking about this yesterday with our son in club volleyball. We remember, was it 5 years ago he started with this
Mhm.
volleyball club? I think that team was like one of the top ranked teams in the country.
What?
This is where
No.
no, no, it was rough, wasn't that the first couple years? And then you look at how the players developed, and the boys developed the mindset. The coaches got kept on growing, and now looking at being one of the top teams in the region. And I think, why is this such a hard thing to remember though? When you're working to be consistent with what happened, realizing that many changes in life come slowly.
Well, I think it's easy to get lost in, the instant gratification of everything that now is put in front of us, and not understanding actually the work that got put into seeing those things. Um, it kind of goes to the social media envy that we talked about last week. We see all these things on social media, and it's easy to forget that maybe the work that was put in consistently behind the scenes each day that that person did, um, and to forget about that and just want for ourselves success instantly.
Yeah. I think one of the ways for me that helps me is, I changed one of my phone screens to with my vision plan in front of me. And I think that's one way to keep yourself going is like by being consistent in the XYZ habit, like what's the end result that you're gunning for? And keeping your goals and dreams in front of you makes a big difference. It was funny last night after practice, our son and I was thinking, okay, well, we're gonna get to eat, and we need to get some food, and so we picked up Danielle a nice little salad at Portillo's, and he thought that I said a cake. What are you doing? Gonna pick up a cake? I'm like, no, no, no. We were laughing about that later, But he knows a lot of my goals as well in terms of health and continuing to improve in that side of things. So it's good also to have that accountability partner, especially when you're maybe challenged to realize that many choices in life come slowly. The third is consistency requires habits and pig-headed determination and discipline. And discipline is in short supply. I was listening to a talk this morning by Mark Cuban. If you don't know who Mark Cuban is, he's the billionaire owner of um, the Dallas Mavericks. Multiple businesses. You might have seen him in Shark Tank and whatnot. He goes, really two things that comes to be successful in business: brains and effort. The guy's like, really? Well, brains, like you got to understand what the heck you need to do, right? You got to understand your business. You got to understand what it's going to take to be successful, and then applying that understanding, and that's where the discipline comes into play. He goes, when I first bought the Dallas Mavericks, we had zero season ticket holders, zero. He goes, you know what I did? I went back and called up my former season ticket holders, and whoa, the guy's interviewing was like, whoa, time out. You billionaire owner got on the phone and called up former season ticket holders. He goes, yeah, someone's got to do it. He goes, I'm not above and beyond that. So using your discipline, and if you word of discipline to useful habits, will make a difference. And the root word of it means th- to cut off. The Latin meaning of decision means to cut off. How come relying on discipline day after day can be a losing battle for a lot of people?
It's just the consistent effort that you have to hold yourself accountable um, to do it. I think sometimes is very challenging.
That's what's happening. That's what we got to have the effective habits, right?
Mhm.
Um, is is more effective and much less painful when you have to have that discipline. Number four, learn to act in the moment. The greatest barrier to consistency is the belief that you can postpone an action to another day. How come each day has the power to bring you closer to your goals that you want to achieve?
Well, I think what you do daily, like you are building your thoughts and your beliefs within yourself each day. And so when you don't do something that in your head you know that you can be doing, it sets you back because now you're dealing with the guilt and shame because you didn't do it. And then you're constantly having to rebuild that part of your beliefs. And so I think each day what we do matters. And going back to yesterday, going out for the walk, like what made me do it is I was sitting there thinking, people would stand. We went up in a snowstorm to a football game at Lambeau Field and stood outside in this. Like, why can't I go walk in this right now? Like, what is the difference? Like, we would do that, but yet this is for my health. Why wouldn't I go for this walk, even if it is just drizzling out? And so I think it's like putting in perspective, what are we willing to do as pleasure when that's fun to put that equivalent to something that may not be as glamorous. Are we willing to do the work for it?
That's a good call out right there. That's a good call out. We can go ahead. That's actually funny to think about it. We can go ahead and go to a football game and standing in, 30 degrees below weather. Yeah, we're like, oh, I can't go outside for a walk. It's too cold out. That's a good point. And I think about soccer parents. Anyone who has the kids in outdoor sports, you're sitting outside in the rain, and oh, I guess it comes back down to understand the reason why you're there, right? Oh, I just spent $300 for this, football game, or my kids are here, so I gotta watch them, even though I might complain about it the whole time while I'm watching it in the rain. Each day is lost forever. Time is our only non-renewable source. So number four is, like I said, is learn to act in the moment. The only real discipline required is the discipline to act right now. Number five, when it comes to the power of consistency, is have reasonable expectations. When I say that to you, what does that mean to you, Danielle?
Well, I've learned that instant gratification isn't instant unless you're eating a piece of chocolate, and then after that, then it's gone. So I think understanding that it's not necessarily the moment that's the greatest. It's the moments along the way that make the most impact.
Wow. See, folks, I swear, and I get to go and experience this every day. You guys get to experience this once a week. I hope you just heard the gold which Danielle just shared right there. Can you share that one more time again? Come on. I thought that was really good.
It came and gone.
We'll have to go ahead back and re-listen to that because that was really good. I'm gonna have to write that down. I was contemplating about so much right there. I was like, wow, that was good. Something along the lines is the little moments each day make the great moment. Is that something along? Is that am I paraphrasing that right?
Sure.
She's being very kind to me, ladies and gentlemen. But she said it so much better than I did. But you gotta have those reasonable expectations along the way. I am not going to be on the stage of Mr. Olympia tomorrow. Mr. Olympia, by the way, is the world's biggest bodybuilding competition. As much as I like to dream about it, actually, I don't. I want to be in the classic physique, not the other physique. You gotta have reasonable expectations, but that's again why you set those goals to have those mile markers along the way. Here's one that's really helps me out in terms of developing this consistent power of consistency is using reminders or triggers in your environment to encourage consistency. So, for example, my phone, I have my goals on. I also have a big 1 million on my screen. I was listening to this recently. They said, which on your phone, and people, oh, my kids, my family, and everything like that. And they go, I bet you have beautiful kids. You have beautiful families. You have beautiful dogs. But you're doing things for them. I don't think you're gonna forget about them anytime soon. And when I heard this talk, Ed Milet was talking about this, and Ed is not a sponsor of this show, but you can have me on your show anytime you want, Ed, if you're ever listening to this. Um, but it made me think about last year when I had to achieve some of my greatest success. I had my vision plan on my phone. I had it on my mirror. I had it on my bathroom mirror. I had it in my car. I was looking at it constantly each and every day. Because I do sometimes get distracted. I do sometimes wander. And I look over, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah. So, where your focus goes is where your energy is going to go to. So for you, Danielle, like how do you use reminders or triggers to encourage your consistency? I know one of them, but I'm not going to tell you guys. She can tell you.
I don't even know what it is, so
Uh oh. What's on my office door?
Oh, my running chart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, no, I use, I was gonna say pictures as reminders of what, I'm working towards.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest thing for visual.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who are listening or watching here today, think about the things that you do every day that can serve as reminders. While you're getting dressed, starting your car, turning on the light each night are a few examples, right? So for example, each night, like I've been doing this recently, each night I go to bed, I look at my vision on my phone. I just look at it. I just like sit on it for a little while. So each night before you turn off the lights, you could visualize your goals. After getting dressed, you could do 5 push-ups. I'll do like squats in the morning, to get myself going into my activity. Um, and here's the thing, too, when it comes to this power of consistency that I learned. What you do once in a while doesn't impact your life significantly. Rather, it's what you do consistently that impacts your life. So, Danielle, as we finish up here, what would you say is your final thoughts? I mean, we talked about six different ideas when it comes to leveraging the power of consistency. Number one is, if you ask yourself the question, if you relive today for the next 10 years, where would you end up? Number two was realize that many changes in life come slowly. Number three, consistency requires habits or discipline, and discipline is in short supply. Four, learn to act in the moment, learn to do it now. Five, have reasonable expectations. As much as I'd like to say, I am not going to dunk a basketball overnight. Well, I could if I had assistance with a trampoline. And number 6, use reminders or triggers in your environment to encourage consistency.
Well, I think just to remember that, we're on a journey and the journey is about consistency and whether or not you realize everything that you do each and every day is part of that journey. Like, what direction are you going? It's no different than when you look at your your goals, like your belief in that goal is only as strong as your weakest link in there. And if you're being held back by that weakest link, what is happening consistently that keeps you there?
Yeah, that's well said. Consistency is a major predictor of success in any endeavor. Health, wealth, relationships, your job. And I think what Danielle talked about, that plan, writing down your plan. And yes, you can even have a plan for your relationships written down. You can have a plan for your spiritual life written down. You can have a plan for your finances. Just having it written down and then applying these 6 ideas, these thoughts of consistency, I believe you're going to enjoy a lot more success out there. So we again thank you for joining another Rare Leader conversation. And Rare Leader means something. You know, we started this back in 2020, April 2020 of COVID, and we realized at that time that you know during tough times and when leaders really need to stand up, when they really need to rise up and take that and be that agent of hope for others. And a leader defines reality but gives hope. And as a rare leader, you're someone who's resourceful. You don't see, you know, a lack of resources the reason why you don't succeed. Um, they're adaptable, right? They're willing to adapt to changing times. They're resilient. Um, you know, things are going to happen when you're going after these goals and looking at consistency. Like Danielle had weather that was out of her control yesterday, but you have to apply resiliency, a mindset of resiliency to get done. And finally, engaging. As we talked about earlier, she also was able to get our son to go out and do a walk with her. But you got to be willing to engage others. And as a rare leader, you're rare. You stand out, and that's why you're here today. And we appreciate you for joining us today and supporting us. And then again, if you found value in today's discussion, please feel free to share this with others. Again, we'll be back next Tuesday with another rare leader conversation. I'm Tony Jalen, joined by the wonderful.
Danielle Jalen.
Go ahead and be a rare